Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha. श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। Namaste everyone.
Namaskaram.
Namaste.
Namaste. So my first request, first request, please mark your attendance going to the chat box, register your name, because since last class, I am monitoring who are all not attending, and maybe after 2-3 classes, I will send a polite message to them to withdraw if they are not interested in continuing with these classes. Okay. Number one. Number two, for those who have joined late, I repeat the announcement I made before the prayers, that right now there is a power cut which we are experiencing, and so the classes, the electricity running on backup generator at Nana Nani, right? But when the power comes, the generator will be switched off, so there will be a time gap between the two, and I will lose the modem connection. And so if that happens, I request all of you to stay online, don't disconnect. I will reconnect and then we can continue the class. Okay, if that happens. I don't know how when the power will come back, but it has been happening because there's a heavy rain today evening in Coimbatore. And the last couple of days, this has been happening, you know, this unstable power supply has been there. So because class is going on, so it may affect the class. So that's why I thought I will alert all of you for that. Okay. Right now. Now we will continue with the class. Adau nitya nitya vastu vivekah pariganyate iha mutra phala bhoga viragastadanantaram samadhi shatka sampattihi mumukshuttvamiti sputham. As I said, this sloka is not in any meter, so we have to just read it like a prose only. Okay. So the 4 means for making one a qualified for Jnana Yoga, qualified for undertaking the journey in the spiritual path, is thus clear from the scriptures, is what the Acharya says. What are the 4 means? First is the discriminative understanding between what is eternal or permanent and what is time-bound or impermanent. Then the absence of longing for enjoyment of pleasures here and hereafter. Means what? In this life and in after death also, you know, whether we want to go to Swarga and things like that and all. Then the third qualification, the 6-fold qualifications, like Shama, etc. What are that? The Acharya himself will explain, elaborate later. And finally, mumukshutvam, longing for moksha, longing for liberation, longing for freedom from all the travails of this worldly living. Okay. And in the last class, we were discussing the important qualification of Nitya Vastu Viveka. And that too, I explained it with the example of the journey of a seed.
Mahodaya, Shakuntalaji is unmuted, so there's a disturbance.
Sorry?
Shakuntalaji has unmuted, and so there's a disturbance.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, she
I'm
is
trying
muted
to.
now.
I am.
Yeah, she is muted now.
She's muted?
Yes.
Okay, good. So as I was saying, this journey of a seed example I gave you to understand what is permanent and what is impermanent. Now, one of the students, of course, has been unable to relate to this example to understand what is nitya and what is anitya in the journey of the seed. Well, the student also has some other doubts, and I propose to deal with all that during the satsang after the class today. Therefore, if others also have got similar or different doubts, they may stay back after the class and attend the satsang and raise all their doubts, and I will clarify to the best of my ability. Okay. So, in the last class, if we go back, we were discussing Iha Amutra Phalabhoga Viraga. Therefore, with regard to Phalabhoga, Phalabhoga means what? The experiencing the results of our own karmas, karma phalas. All the experiences given by the ephemeral universe, which of course are the result of our own karmas, viragaha, one should develop more and more detachment. And this is especially applicable to pleasurable experiences, happy experiences, since detachment from pain will happen naturally. Isn't it? Nobody will get attached to pain. Some people may get attached to pain of others. They will pass on a lot of pain and they will get attached to that to trouble others. But one's own pain, nobody will get attached to. They will try to get away, escape the pain, right? So the scriptures, they need not talk about the pain, attachment to pain, but about present pleasures that are given by the world and future pleasures which can be given by the world. We have to develop detachment or dispassion. Why it is so and how to do that, all that we will see later when Acharya elaborates all these qualifications. But is it necessary for everybody to develop this viraga, vairagyasya bhava? Vedanta says it is not meant for all common people. He says you have to develop detachment if you happen to be a seeker of moksha. Only then you have chosen moksha as your goal in life. You want to travel in the spiritual path and reach moksha. So here, in the context of that only, all these qualifications are being mentioned. If you say, I am not interested in moksha, then we have nothing to tell you, my dear. You can do whatever you want to do, be free, enjoy this life, do all the karmas with attachment, selfishness, and then whatever result that will give you in this life or next life, that also you enjoy, or whatever it is you suffer, depending upon that. Therefore, iha amutra phalabhoga viragaha, detachment from all types of pleasures of the world, which are karma phalam only. That is what is emphasized here. And this whole thing is called, in short, viragaha or vairagyam. English, we translate it as dispassion, even though probably dispassion doesn't convey the entire meaning what is meant here. Nevertheless, that is the closest meaning we can get, dispassion. Detachment, non-attachment. So this is the second of the four qualifications required for a seeker of knowledge. And that is what Acharya says, iha mutra phalabhoga viragaha. Yeah. And we must note one thing. When we say detachment, it is total detachment. For example, Some people have a desire and also a will to do lot of dharmic actions to earn punya, so that after death they can go to Swarga Loka or other higher lokas or Vishnu Loka or Shiva Loka. Puranas talk about so many wonderful lokas. Some people will say, oh, I want to get a better birth in the next life, so I will do lot of punya. Maybe I can have a chance, if I have enough punya, I can become a devata. Doing dharmic actions is very good, and the scriptures wholly support them. But that dharmic action also should be done with dispassion and detachment as to the results. That is what is important. So to earning punya or earning papa, any karma that you do, that should be done with detachment. There should be dispassion. That is the meaning of iha amutra. Here means here, amutra, as I said, is hereafter. It could be in the same life hereafter or next lives. Phala bhoga viraga. So this is a very important qualification and the starting point in the starting point in the spiritual journey. Many people, thousands of people, they listen to all these Vedanta talks, even by the best of the Acharyas. But they find that is not making any difference to their lives. The reason is 99% of the people fail in this qualification, in this vairagyam, in this viragasya bhava. And therefore, what happened? They remain where they are, despite all the shravanam that they do, all the classes that they attend. So this qualification, we have to, in fact, in Tattva Bodha, it is put, the four qualifications, first is Viveka, we have already seen. Atma Anatma Viveka, right? Nitya Nitya Viveka. Second qualification in Tattva Bodha also is Viraga, Vairagyam. So this is a very important qualification one should develop, one should possess for going forward in the spiritual journey. Now the third qualification, Samadhi Shatka Sampattihi. Sampatti means wealth in Sanskrit language, general meaning, literal meaning. But here, Sampattihi means internal wealth. Because normally when we use the word wealth or Sampatti, we will talk about the external wealth like money, gold, property, etc. Here we are talking about internal wealth in the form of virtues which are conducive to and required for gaining jnanam, which stays in the mind and fructifies into moksha. Because one thing is you do shravanam and you gain the jnanam. But that is not the end of the story. The jnanam has to stay there till you complete the process up to nididhyasanam. And if the jnanam has to stay there, the knowledge has to stay in the mind, then the samadhi shatka, this internal qualification, internal wealth, which is here called samadhi shatka sampattihi, is very much essential. Therefore, gaining knowledge, continuity of the knowledge, and fructification into moksha, all three aspects of jnanam requires sampattihi, certain inner virtues or faculties. And these are called wealth because with that internal wealth alone, we can acquire self-knowledge. No amount of external wealth can purchase moksha. There are no moksha shops or moksha malls selling moksha off the shelf, isn't it? Even if you come across a shop called moksha in a mall or somewhere in the market, they may sell anything, so many things they may sell, perfume, maybe ladies' garments, I don't know. They may sell all things except freedom or liberation, which is what moksha is. Therefore, you can acquire moksha or freedom only with the help of this internal wealth of virtues. Now, what are those virtues? Shankaracharya calls this a group of 6 internal virtues. Shatka Sampattihi, 6 mental faculties, which are very, very important. Again, these also will be explained later. I will not go into deep into this, because we will see when the future slokas come. But here we will note only this much. Sampattihi are inner values or disciplines. For convenience, we will use discipline, right? Shatkam means consisting of 6, a group of 6. And he gives one example, one sample. The first one, he says, Shamadhi, Shama Adhi, like Shama. So the 6-fold internal disciplines beginning with Shama. What is Shama also will be explained later. But we can now, for our purpose, because there may be curiosity among some students, we can translate it as mind management or mind control, thought discipline, the capacity to handle our thoughts. We have that capacity. And even if we don't have it in a high degree, we can build that capacity to handle our thoughts. And that quality is not only for Vedanta, but also very, very important in our day-to-day lives. So mental discipline. I will enumerate the other 5 later. So the 6-fold internal discipline is the 3rd qualification. Then the 4th and the last one is, again, very important, is mumukshutvam. As I said, all these qualifications are relevant only if their mumukshutvam is there. Even though it is enumerated as the 4th, it is the most important one. It is the starting point, in fact. Mumukshutvam means what? A burning desire for moksha. Not that, okay, if I get it also, okay, not get it also, okay. No, not like that. It is like a desire of an athlete going for a gold medal in the Olympics. Burning desire. He is prepared to give up everything else. His focus and goal is only gold medal in the Olympics. Moktum ichuhu mumukshuhu. So the one who desires liberation is called mumukshuhu. And what is mumukshutvam? It is a state of mind. The status of being a desirer of moksha. Desire for liberation, freedom. And that's why I said, this is most important, because all qualifications are relevant only if one wants liberation or freedom. If one says, oh, I am very happy being a materialistic person, I am very happy with my wealth and enjoying the wealth, why should I work for all these spiritual liberation kind of things and all that? I am not interested in your Vedanta, I am not interested in the scriptures and all. He said, no problem. Absolutely no problem with us. We will never impose Vedanta on such a person. And that is why, there is one more guidance which I will give you. Because when we start learning Vedanta, or we tell people that I am attending Vivekachudamani classes or Bhagavad Gita classes and all that, many people who have no clue about all these things will ask a lot of questions. What is it? How is it? And all that. Don't become an Acharya in front of them, before them. Don't start explaining. Because 2 reasons. One is you yourself may not be convinced about what has been taught fully. Unless you have got a conviction that what I am learning is 100% correct and it is as per what the scriptures say, you must keep, your mouth shut. Because the moment you make a wrong statement, the other person will pounce upon you and say, you see, I told you all this is all nonsense. That's one reason. The other reason is we must have respect for Vedanta. Vedanta is not a topic to be discussed over dining table, not a topic to be discussed during some marriage is going on, not a topic to be discussed as some bedside story rather. It's a serious thing. Vedanta is serious. So if you want to even talk about Vedanta, you must always look for a conducive atmosphere, a proper place, and also a proper person to talk to. You need not tell him, oh, you won't understand all these things and all. You need not tell him. You can always say, no, this is not the right opportunity, I feel. We will talk about it. You come when you are in a more leisurely, situation. We will discuss it and I will tell you whatever I have learned. Like that, very diplomatically, you must avoid any conversation on Vedanta in a casual conversation with Vedanta. Because we will come across such people a lot in our life. Such people, their life is all about, weekend one from Monday to Sunday, working for 5 days, enjoying weekends, going for picnic or doing whatever it is, or sleeping late. That's one of the funniest thing which I can't understand. I can understand that people who are working, maybe they are working very late at night and all that during the weekdays. So Saturday, Sunday is the only days they get to catch up with their sleep. So they sleep for some time, some extra time, maybe up to 8 o'clock in the morning. Other days they may have to get up at 6 o'clock and get ready to go to office. But what is funny is, even after retirement, when they don't need to go anywhere, that habit continues. Saturday, Sunday, they will still, oh, today is Sunday, I will sleep till 8 o'clock. You don't need to go anywhere. You have not got anywhere during the week. So this is what they waste their time, their life in so many, I would say, useless pursuits. So we don't introduce Vedanta to them. In fact, no Swamiji or no Acharya is interested in marketing Vedanta. On the contrary, if a person has understood the limitation of the materialistic lifestyle, and he comes across spirituality and starts understanding the value of spirituality, he will seek Vedanta voluntarily without being influenced. And therefore, one should be mature enough to understand the limitations of the materialistic life and curious to know whether there is something more to life than growing up physically, old age, disease, death, etc., all of which will make every materialistic thing meaningless. One should always ask the question, introspect, is there something more to life? At least he must have a mild curiosity. A thinking person will have this curiosity. Start comparing. I also eat, sleep, procreate. Animals also do the same thing. Then what is the difference between me and animals? Such questions should come in the mind. And when the question comes, is there something more to life, then you start searching for that. What is that? You go to some acharyas, you go to gurus and all, and you are told, yes, there is something more. Acharya will tell, yes, there is a lot more. In fact, the life that you are leading is not a life at all. If you are interested, I am willing to introduce that to you, is what the Acharya will say. So basically, that person must be interested, then alone the teaching will work. And once a person becomes mildly curious, we call him a manda mumukshuhu. When a person becomes manda mumukshuhu, we will gradually introduce the spiritual concepts to him by teaching him what we call the basic introductory text called Tattva Bodha. And once he goes through the Tattva Bodha, he will become a Tivra Mumukshu, an intense seeker of liberation. He will immediately relate to whatever he is taught in Tattva Bodha. And once he becomes a Tivra Mumukshu, he will then absorb Vedanta like a sponge absorbing water. Or Paramarthananda ji says, a hungry person eating whatever is available in the plate, what they call gobbling that. Therefore, every other qualification, Guru, Shastra, all these things will become relevant only when a person is a mumukshuhu. And that is why we should regularly introspect. Why am I attending these classes? Why am I trying to understand the Vedantic philosophy? Is it because I am really longing for liberation from this samsara? Am I really interested in moksha? Or I have nothing better to do, so let me just attend these classes and do time pass. Whenever I have got something else to do, I will skip these classes. If that is the approach, my advice to such people is either you withdraw from these classes or I will just take your name out of the group. Because it is not a question of my choice or my preference. By having such an attitude, they are unwittingly indulging in a papa karma. That is, they are not respecting our scriptures. They are not giving up priority to our scriptures. So I want to prevent them from indulging in such a papa karma that you signed up for the classes, but you don't have any intention to attend it regularly. Of course, some exceptional circumstances may be there which can be excused. Given the lifestyle that we have got these days, there can be some exceptional circumstances. But the first priority should always be 1 hour in a week. If you can't spare that, don't talk Vedanta philosophy and all just for the sake of keeping yourself, showing yourself as a great spiritual personality in a society group. You are not. Understand that. So these are all certain things, you have to first qualify for being a mumukshu. Many people come to Vedanta because so many others are doing it. And the best part is they say, oh, they don't charge anything for learning Vedanta, so I have time at my disposal. There is no harm in enrolling for the classes. I can always miss the class. In fact, in advance itself, they tell me, some people, that, I may have to go here, there and all that, and so some classes I will miss. Just imagine what will be my condition. Somebody comes to learn, as an Acharya, I cannot say, no, I will not teach you. But they come and tell me that I want to enroll, I want to learn, but I don't want to learn also regularly. Many times I have actually thought that I will not circulate the video recordings. I will not post them. You want to learn, you attend the class or no recording. But then I always feel that there are some students who are really serious students. Some 1 or 2 classes, because of some health conditions or some circumstances, they may not be able to attend the class. For their sake, I am continuing this video recording and posting it in YouTube and circulating the link and all. But what happens is we human beings always misuse the things. Many people will think, why should I be there, spend 1 hour on a Sunday evening? My most precious time when I go for parties and things like that and all, or I will host a party in my house. I will just look at the video and, that kind of an attitude is there. So that should not be the attitude. Mumukshutvam means a burning desire for liberation, overriding every other desire. It is putam. It is putam means it is clear. It is clear from the scriptures. Therefore, these four, Viveka, Vairagyam, Samadhi, Shatka, Sampatti, and Mumukshutvam, are the internal wealth required for Vedanta to work. Suppose we find Vedanta is not working for us, that is because, in fact, I will say that is only because one or more of these four qualification is either lacking or is deficient. And in order to remember these four qualifications, because Sanskrit words, for people may find it difficult to remember, Swami Paramathananda has beautifully coined 4 Ds. Remember the 4 Ds, which are the qualification: discrimination, dispassion, discipline, and desire. So discrimination, you relate it to Viveka, dispassion related to Vairagyam, discipline you relate it to Samadhi, Shatka, Sampatti, and desire you relate it to intense desire for moksha. So now, hereafter, Shankaracharya will define each one and relevance of each one. So we will now go forward, read the 10th verse in our list, which is the 20th verse in the original text. Excuse me. Brahma satyam jagan mitya ityevam rupo vinishchayah soyam nitya nitya vastu vivekah samudahritah. So the Anvaya of this sloka is Brahma Satyam Jagan Mitya iti evam rupaha vinishchayah saha ayam nitya nitya vastu vivekah samudahritah. Brahma. Here the word Brahma means Brahman. Brahman is the adhishtanam, the foundation of this entire cosmos. The whole world, the universe, the cosmos is sustained on Brahman alone. Satyam, absolute reality, or here we take the meaning as eternal also. Jagat, the world. Mithya is time bound. Iti, thus. Evam rupaha, of this nature or this particular idea. Vinishchayaha, ascertainment or conviction. Saha ayam, that is this nitya nitya vastu vivekaha, the discriminative understanding of what is time bound and what is eternal. Samudahritaya is stated well. Stated well in the scriptures. So the meaning of this sloka, plain meaning, Brahman, the absolute reality, is eternal and the world is time bound. This particular idea, this ascertainment, this conviction, this discriminative understanding of what is time bound and what is eternal is stated well in the scriptures. So now Acharya starts elaborating on the first qualification, which was Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekah. He is defining what is eternal and what is ephemeral. Therefore, the entire universe in Vedanta is classified into 2 groups. The one is entire visible, experienceable universe itself. We can call it group number 1. This universe is also called Anitya Vastu because it is a perishable universe. Everything in this universe is of perishable nature. But even according to the modern science, they may have made some calculations. We don't know how much we can, those calculations are correct, because these calculations will keep on changing as science progresses. So they say that now presently they are calculating that the universe came into existence some 13.7 billion years ago. And this whole existence came into being by a process called Big Bang. So after the Big Bang, the universe started evolving. That is what the scientists say. And of course, our scriptures declare that whatever has a beginning will have to have an end also. Scientists also accept that. They are observing the entire, the cosmos, what is going on in various places in the entire space, rather, in the cosmos. So from that, they have deduced that even our sun, the sun which we worship, Surya Bhagavan, even though it has got a very, 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 very long life, eventually a day will come when that will also decay and vanish one day. Because astronomers, they are observing and they talk about formation and collapse of stars. In fact, Nobel laureate Chandrasekhar, Indian Nobel laureate S. Chandrasekhar, he was engaged in the theoretical studies relating to the evolution of the stars. So net result is, one day in the distant future, the sun will also disappear. It will cease to exist. And all life on earth also will cease to exist. Not only the earth, the planets, the stars, the galaxies, everything will cease to exist, because the entire universe is within time and space and so perishable. In fact, our knowledge is limited. All knowledge that we gain is limited only to perishable things. Now, we must be very careful. Science talks in terms of perishable things and all that. From a Vedanta point of view, from our scriptures point of view, nothing perishes. It is only when we say that the whole universe will perish, what it means is it will go from a manifest condition to an unmanifest condition. And then after some time, some gap, it could be millions of years gap also, we don't know. Again, it will get converted from an unmanifest condition to a manifest condition. And according to our understanding, what the scientists call as Big Bang is nothing but one of those cycles being created. So the whole universe is cyclical, rather. So the cycle will continue. That's what we must understand. Nevertheless, all these things will go from manifest to unmanifest, and then it will go from unmanifest to manifest. So what we can say is that either you call it, it will all perish, what is born will be gone, or it will go from manifest to unmanifest. Whatever you want to, howsoever you want to understand, the point remains that it is temporary, ephemeral. It is not going to be there permanently. Entire universe. Does it mean that everything will perish? The scripture says no. The scriptures introduce an entity that is imperishable, which is beyond time and space. In fact, time and space are within that entity. Now it's very difficult to believe to know that such an entity exists. But the scriptures promise, if you have got faith in me, travel along with me. I will teach you and show you what that eternal thing is. Sitting right now in your chair, or in the class, listening to one or two or some 10 lectures, you will not be able to understand what that eternal thing is. It requires a lot of study. Lot of study of the scriptures. And the scriptures say that entity, that imperishable eternal entity is called Brahman or Atma. This Brahman or Atma is said to be a transcendental principle which doesn't fall within time and space. What all things fall within time and space are perishable. That which does not fall within the time and space, what you can call category, that is imperishable. So even though it is a transcendental principle, at the same time it is an immanent principle also, which is in and through time and space. It is not part of the creation, but it is in and through the creation, like a movie screen. In a movie, we all know, we often have been going or even still going. The screen on which the movie is projected is not part of the movie. It doesn't participate in the movie. So the screen is a transcendental principle. At the same time, the screen is in and through every character, every event, every frame, and the movie itself is not possible without the screen. Isn't it? Like that, there is a screen behind the universe, which is an immanent and transcendental principle, which alone supports the entire universe. We will study all this, that principle in all these verses. So many verses Adi Shankara has, because it's a very difficult, very subtle concept one needs to understand. But that seemingly mysterious, subtle, immanent, transcendental, eternal principle is called Brahman. Mysterious from our point of view. There is no mystery actually if you fully understand what it is. And Shankaracharya says Brahma Satyam. Satyam basically means absolute reality. But in this context, we will take the meaning as Nityam, eternal. So Brahman, which is going to be revealed in this text, is a Nitya Vastu. Right now, you must accept it based on spiritual dictum. I accept that there is something called Brahman. Even though I don't know what it is, I accept it only because scriptures say, I've got Shraddha in the scriptures. I will accept it on face value, subject to verification, subject to my being convinced through scriptural study of the existence of Brahman, which is Nityam. Because the scriptures promise to reveal that to me. And I trust the scriptures. So Brahma Satyam. And Jagan Mithya means other than this Brahman, the entire universe, as I said, consisting of billions of galaxies, billions of stars, billions of planets, billions of living beings, all of them are Anityam. Anityam means what? Not permanent, not eternal, subject to end. It may not end tomorrow or day after. Every being has got a certain life, including distant planets, stars, etc. They will all end someday. As I said, gave the example of the Surya. It may still go for billions of years, but yet the sun is Anitya. Because in time it will end. Could be several trillions of years, we don't know. But there is no denying the fact that it will end. And whatever has an end is called Anityam. Even Brahmaji, Vishnu, Shiva, etc., all have a very long lifespan, maybe crores and crores of years, but they will also come under the definition of anityam only. So everything consisting of the impermanent universe is anityam. So Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, Brahman is eternal, the world is ephemeral. This is the first lesson Adi Shankara is giving. Two different divisions. The whole world you divide it into two. One is Brahman, which is Satyam, another is Jagat, which is Mithya. Because the word Mithya has also is also a very much misunderstood word. Mithya does not mean false. There is another word, Tucha in Sanskrit, which means false. Mithya means which appears to be real, which appears to exist, but actually has no existence. No existence of its own. I should qualify that. Mithya's appearance of existence is because it borrows existence from Brahman. So appears as existing. I mean, the classic example we see is to understand what Mithya is that a magic show. A magician is there. He does so many magic. He will produce so many things. From a handkerchief, he will take out and shake it, and it will become a bouquet of flowers. Now, intelligent people who are thinkers, will understand that this fellow has played some trick. He is only making the handkerchief appear as a bouquet. In fact, there is no bouquet. In fact, there is no handkerchief also probably. So the whole Jagat is nothing but like a film being projected on the screen. It is a mithya, means a projection. We will see all those details later. What is this projection? How it is projected? Who is responsible for this projection? All that we will see later. Right now, all that you have to understand is mithya does not mean false. Mithya means dependent existence. Mithya means appearing to exist, whereas in fact it doesn't exist. That is mithya, which is again ephemeral, temporary, subject to perishing. And so I was saying, Vedantic scriptures, Nitya Vastu is called Brahman. However, for most people, almost all people, it's very difficult to relate to something which they cannot perceive, they cannot experience directly. Therefore, what Vyasacharya did very intelligently, through the religious scripture, through Puranic stories, etc., Vedanta is introduced in a diluted form. So Puranas contain stories through which they introduced Vedanta in an indirect manner. Many of you who have listened to Bhagavatam stories or Bhagavatam Saptaham and all that, the Acharyas or the Upanyasakaras, they will tell all story very beautifully, but they will not miss pointing out the Vedanta aspect of the Purana. Every Purana will talk about Vedanta only. In fact, Adi Shankara, when he wrote the Bhashyam for Vishnu Sahasranama, the whole Bhashyam interpretation he did on the basis of the Advaita Vedanta philosophy. He has quoted left and right from all Puranas only as evidence of what he is saying is that whole scriptures are Advaita Vedanta. Advaita Vedanta is the only sustainable philosophy. So Puranas contain a lot of Vedanta. We have to study the Puranas. Fine. like we remove the seeds and the skin and all, we peel and eat only the fruit. A Vedantin will listen to Bhagavata Purana, but his focus will be on the Vedanta philosophy which is contained in the Purana. And in the Puranas, this Brahman is called Ishvara, God. Therefore, in Puranic language, God alone is permanent. Whereas in Vedantic language, Brahman alone is permanent. So the world, all our relations, possessions, etc. are impermanent only. Ityevam rupaha vinishchayaha. Vinishchayaha means this conviction. Evam rupaha, that Brahman is eternal and the world is ephemeral. This particular idea is vinishchayaha, is ascertained, is the conviction. Saha ayam. This conviction alone is called Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekaha. This is called the discriminative understanding between eternal and the ephemeral. Samudahritaha. It is stated well, mentioned or declared in the scriptures. So in short, Brahman is eternal, the world is ephemeral, declare the scriptures. A firm conviction that it is indeed so is called discrimination between eternal and ephemeral. And this is the definition of the first qualification, Vivekaha. Now we will go and see the second qualification. Okay, Vairagya. Verse number 11 in our list, 21 in the original text. So those who are all there, I hope you have all marked your attendance. If anybody has forgotten, please go ahead and mark your attendance. Okay. Thank you. So we'll read the 11th sloka. Tadvairagyam jihasaya darshanashramanadibihi dehadi brahma pariyantam yanitye bhoga vastuni. We are still on. Okay. You can hear me, no? Hello? Hello? Am I audible now?
Maholia, you're on mute. Yeah, you're audible now.
Okay, good. Right. So I was, because the electricity came, the generator was switched off and the power came. So that's what happened. So I will read.
Kindly repeat the sloka.
Yeah, repeat the sloka. Tadvairagyam jihasaya darshanashramanadibihi dehadi brahma pariyantam yanitye bhoga vastuni. The Anvaya of the sloka is Darshana Shravanadibihi Dehadi Brahma Paryantam Anitye Ya Jihasa Bhoga Vastuni Tat Vairagyam. Word meanings. Darshana Shravanadibihi, attained to seeing and hearing, etc. Dehadi Brahma Paryantam, starting from this body up to Brahmaji. Here the word Brahma refers to Brahmaji, okay, the creator. Anitye is time bound. Ya jihasa, that desire to give up. bhoga vastuni, the objects of enjoyment and materialistic pleasures, that vairagyam is the disposition of one who is dispassionate, or you can say that is dispassion. So, vairagya is a mental disposition characterized by the absence of longing in all time-bound objects of enjoyment, right from this body up to Brahmaji, and attained through seeing, hearing, etc. While talking about Viveka or discrimination, Acharya said that the entire world is anityam or ephemeral. Now he makes a few more points on the anitya vastu, just elaborates it for our understanding. He asks, what do you mean by anitya prapancha? He says, Deha adi brahma paryantam. The first and foremost anitya vastu you should note is our own physical body. One of the greatest paradoxes or ironies of life is that even though we experience death of all other people around us, in spite of so much experience, we don't want to think of the fact that our physical body also will perish one day. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi are natural to every ephemeral thing, including this body. I will not go to mind and sense complex because they travel. So this particular fact we should register very well. Therefore, Deha Adi, beginning from Deha, beginning from my Stula Sharira, my physical body, Brahma Pariyante, up to Brahmaji, the creator. Where Brahmaji also has got his own body, we must understand. We don't know what type of a body is, but no living being can exist without a body. Even after death, whatever leaves our body, the Sukshma Sharira, Karana Sharira, also take up a body, which we can't see. That's called Preta Sharira. Without a physical body, without a container, all these subtle things cannot exist. Of course, we will not go into all that, what is body made up of, that is not relevant here. But what we must understand is Brahmaji has got a body, and his own body serves as his instrument to fulfill his duty of creation. But Brahmaji's body is also anityam only. Thus, my body, of course, bodies of all family members, as well as all the celestial beings, and even Bhagavan, if Bhagavan has got a body, even that Bhagavat Shariram, all of them will come under Anityam Jagat only. Human body, celestial body, divine body, whatever is the body, all bodies are Anityam. Then you have to extend it to all other objects experienced by this body. All of them are also Anityam. All of them are divided again into two types. Some of them are relevant to our life. They are part of our life. We have got an emotional bonding with those things or beings, whatever you can say, either in the form of raga or dvesha. So one type of Anityam Jagat is where we have an emotional bonding, and there is another part of Anityam Jagat where I don't have any relevance or emotional bonding to raga, dvesha, or likes and dislike. I am indifferent to them. Like when I read the daily news about so many people dying, I read it with total dispassion because it is death of somebody else. I have not even seen that person. I don't even know such a person exists. But the moment somebody is sick in our close quarters, we have some connection, bondage, then our mind begins to react. Thus, we have got two types of universes. that which is capable of disturbing or influencing our life positively or negatively, and that which will not influence or impact us anyway. And in the Shastra, we have got two specific names for these two types. We will see more about that in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much. I hope the recording is
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಗುರುಜಿ.
Thank you, Guruji.
Namaskaram.
because of the power.
Thank you, Guruji.
Dhanyawad,
Thank you,
Mahoday.
Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you very much. Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari
Thank
Om.
you.
Hari Om.
Thank you very much, Guruji.
Thank
Namaskaram.
you. Namaskaram. So as I told, I will just want to briefly take a few minutes to explain that seed example. But before that, I will check with everybody, including Lataji if she's there. Still, she has got a doubt on that, or is it clear, or should I explain it once again?
Yes and no.
What should I take it as?
Vedanta knowledge is like just as you think you're able to grasp something, then it seems to run away from you.
That will happen. As I told, that's all because of deficiency in the qualifications. Like to talk in your language, deficiency in vitamins, deficiency in potassium creates lots of problem, memory problem and all that. This is deficiency in the Vedanta qualifications, which you have to now take supplements and improve that deficiency.
Guruji, what you explained last time is, yes, it was good in the sense, but that as I said, seed going through various stages and then finally becoming ash. But then ash is also something that you can still comprehend with your mind. But then the Anitya Vastu is not something that you can comprehend with your mind. So that comparison I didn't understand. That's all I meant, Guruji.
No. Anitya Vastu you can comprehend with your mind. Nitya Vastu is what you are not able to comprehend.
Sorry, I meant that.
What we have to understand is that the existence of any Anitya Vastu, any temporary thing, cannot be possible without the Nitya Vastu. When we are talking about Brahman, we will see it later, what is the nature of Brahman. We say Sat Chit Ananda, correct? You must have heard this phrase, Sachidananda.
Yes.
Right?
Always.
So it talks about three aspects, which is consisting, what we call Brahman has got three aspects. Because, as I said, Brahman doesn't have a form. What doesn't have a form? We cannot really comprehend what it is. And Brahman itself, the word itself is from Brih Dhatu, which means big. Now, when you say Brahman, means literal translation is that which is big. Now, when we say big, it is a comparative statement, isn't it? Big means what? Big compared to what? Because a cat may be big compared to a rat, whereas an elephant will be big compared to a cat. So whenever we say Brahman, what do you mean by Brahman? Question will come. Our own intellect, imaginary capacity goes only up to a particular level. We can probably imagine this big, this big, this big, or this big, right? We can't spread our hands beyond this. But Shastra says Brahman is all pervasive in the universe. So when you actually don't even know what is the limit of the universe, Brahman is there up to that and beyond that also. That's why we say he is Ananta, Ananda, limitless. That's one aspect of Brahman. When Satchidananda, we say the word Ananda is also in Taittiriya Upanishad, that Ananda is stated as Ananta. Because Satchidananda is in Taittiriya Upanishad is stated as Satyam Jnanam Anantam. So Sat aspect is Satyam, Chit aspect is Jnanam, Anandam aspect is Anantam. Anantam means limitless. That's why when we talk of limitless happiness, we talk of moksha, we talk that you will get that only when you understand yourself as Brahman. That Aham Brahmasmi, when you fully understand, assimilate that knowledge and abide in that knowledge, you will get limitless happiness. That is how it is interconnected. Okay. Now we come to the example. The first aspect of Brahman is what called Sat. Here also just now we saw, right? Brahma Satyam, Sat. What is that Sat? Sat means it is existence. In Sanskrit, whenever we say Asti, 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 how do we translate it?
Existing permanently. As existing permanently.
Pustakam Asti means what?
It's there.
Is there, right?
There.
Is there. Book is, right? That is, if that Asti word is there, you know, every sentence that we speak, you will find that isness is there. So in the seed example, when the seed we see, what is this? This is a seed. Right? This is a seed. Then what is, when the seed becomes a plant, what is this? This is a plant. Right? Now the seed has changed into a plant. The name and the form has changed, whereas the is still there. Right? Plant becomes a tree. What is this? This is a tree. So the plant name and form has changed to the form of tree and the different name given tree. Is still continuing. So if you go on analyzing like this, what is permanent in all these statements is the isness.
Right.
The form and name keeps on changing. That isness is what we call Brahman. That isness is one aspect of the Brahman, Sat aspect of Brahman, which is eternal, which is permanent. That will never change. So, we will actually, this is a very early stages. Adi Shankara himself will explain all these things elaborately as we go on. Right? But so that you don't have this, you can just understand that this is what we meant by Brahman or Sat aspect of Brahman. Right? Then Chitta aspect is there, then Anantam aspect or Ananda aspect is there. That we will all see all those things in detail. We are going to see that later in these 108 slokas rather. Shankaracharya himself will explain all these things. But for the present, you can just imagine what is that Sat. Sat is what we actually experience day in and day out. Therefore, there is no separate experience of Brahman we need. Whenever we are experiencing any object in this universe, we are not only experiencing the Nama Rupa, the name and form, but we are also experiencing the Adhishtanam, the isness, the Sat aspect, the existence aspect of that object. Another example I will give you. Because what happens is we are oblivious to these things. And when the Shastra draws our attention to this, we must actually understand and relate to this. Okay. Now I'll ask you a question. What do you see? What am I showing?
Hand, Guruji. I can
Does
see your
everybody
hand.
agree that you are seeing a hand? No
We are
answer.
seeing a palm.
We are seeing a palm. Okay, hand, palm, whatever it is. Somebody may say, I'm seeing the lines, whatever it is, right? But I will tell you, you are seeing two things, not one. You are not realizing it. You are ignoring it. It is obvious, but you are oblivious. What is that?
Yeah, you had explained this earlier also, Guruji. Light.
Light, right?
Light.
Without that light, you cannot see this hand.
Hmm.
That's our total darkness is there. Can you see the hand? You cannot. But whenever I ask you, what are you seeing? You will automatically say, I see hand only. You will never say, I am seeing the light and also the hand. Whereas the light is because of the light,
we take
only
for
you are
granted.
able to experience the hand.
Hmm.
If you understand like this, the example, you will understand what is that easiness about which I am talking about in this journey of the seed.
Yes, Guruji. You had
Easiness
explained this during the Tattva Buddha class as well.
Exactly.
And that
That's
time,
all standard
I was thinking,
examples.
oh, this is, I had thought that it'll never go out of my brain, but then it had gone, and then you brought it back, Guruji.
So there is no, people say, no, I will do meditation, I will experience Brahman. There is no experience of Brahman. You can't experience Brahman. You can experience Brahman, existence of Brahman only through the objects. Whenever I am experiencing anything, I am also experiencing Brahman. It is because of Brahman only I am able to experience the Nama Rupa objects. That is what we have to understand at this stage. We will see more and more as we go along. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions, doubts? If not, I will close the class. Okay. Right. Thank you very much. Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Hari
Guruji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, pranams.
Hari Om, pranam.
Hari Om, Guruji.
Hari Om.
धन्यवाद महोदय हरि ओम
धन्यवाद है हरि ओम.
Thank you.